and welcome to Brain Wealth, where we explore timeless truths, financial wisdom, and the art of living abundantly with Bryan Repple. Today's episode is inspired by a dusty old board game from 1860. Bryan's going to explain that one. It was a game created in a time of civil unrest, moral uncertainty, and personal struggle. That game? The Checkered Game of Life by Milton Bradley, but its lessons still echo loudly today. Brain Wealth, as you know, is hosted by Bryan Repple. He is a financial advisor, endurance athlete, and founder of Repple Wealth Group. Bryan, what does a board game about virtue and vice from 1860 have to teach us about modern wealth, purpose, and fulfillment today?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Bill, let's think about who Milton Bradley is. Many of you may have heard that name, but we go back to the games of such like Candyland, Operation, and Battleship. So old games that we've all played, but we're going to talk about who Milton Bradley is. And the first game he created was called the Checkered Game of Life. And this was actually created right before the Civil War. So why do you think Milton's game resonated so deeply then? And really the question is, how does it mirror today's world? So I'm just going to give a little shadow about the past for Milton Bradley.
Sure.
Milton lost everything. His business collapsed when he created a product. And I was reading this a couple weeks ago and I was like, this is a great story. His business collapsed when he created a product, and the product had Abraham Lincoln's face on it. And the face became unsellable when Lincoln grew that famous beard. So when he grew the beard out, Milton Bradley lost everything. He was broke. He became discouraged. And at this point in life, he was looking for some purpose. So instead of quitting, what should most people do? Instead of giving up, thinking he's a failure, he pivoted. So in 1860, he created this game called the Checkered Game of Life. And so basically, the game was where players navigated different spaces. So in Monopoly, we have different spaces we land on to collect.
Yeah.
Right. This game had different spaces you land on where it was like industry, crime, ambition, or even financial ruin. But all of it, whatever the spaces you land on, the goal was to get to a happy old age. So that was 160 years ago. But let's think about that today. Let's put that as perspective today. We've just come through a global pandemic. We're only 5 years from when that started in 2020 to now.
Yeah.
We just had some of the highest inflation we've experienced almost a year and a half, 2 years ago. We have political division. We have massive technological disruption. Some great things that are happening that can be challenging for some individuals. And people are questioning everything these days: work, wealth, and more importantly, their purpose. So when Bradley created this game to teach, it was really to teach that virtue leads to victory. So today we need to have that same compass in life. So really what we stand for at Repple Wealth, we guide clients through their own life board, showing how financial decisions like charitable giving, tax planning, and investing with purpose can help them avoid really either ruin or help them land on the board of legacy, what that looks like. So that's really what kind of the backdrop of Milton's history of what that board game is teaching.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I obviously know the name Milton Bradley. I had no idea about the background of it. So that's really interesting. And I did not know of the Checker Game of Life until today, when you and I got ready to record this episode. But it's interesting because this is not a game just about money. Like Monopoly's about money, right? It's all about money. This game is about money and morality. So it's an interesting component that he worked into the board game. Maybe you can give us its relevance to wealth today.
Yeah, Bill, that's the best part. This part I probably love the most. Bradley wasn't just designing entertainment. He was shaping our minds. Very similar to what Monopoly does. There's a shaping of minds that go on in that experience in all games. Yeah. So in the game, landing on idleness, not moving forward, set you back. perseverance, or integrity advanced you. So he believed success wasn't just about making money. It was about who you become on the way. So when I do ultra endurance events, we're always trying to think about the end, like what you get when they put a frame, your jersey, and accomplishing it. But it's not so much that, it's who you get to become through the journey, the training, the experiences that shapes you in life. So today our clients face the same choices. You can make a fortune and still feel empty, or you can build wealth aligned with your values, whether that's faith, family, giving, philanthropy, or even your health. Making the journey through the change is some of the greatest virtue of growth that we can experience. So, just to give you an idea, I had multiple clients that come in, and I just know there's one particular that was really just feeling overwhelmed with their business and life, their expenses, and just as successful as they seemed on the outside, this individual was just burned out with the news, disconnected from his family, just lost in the noise of what goes on in the world. When we got together, we were able to simplify the finances, offload, really help understand some of the tax burdens that were going on, paint a picture for their financial future to show them that the path they're on, what it was going to lead to if some changes weren't made, and just redirect some investment choices to things that inspired this individual. It was at this point, I just remember the line went something like this. It was just like more of, I finally feel like I'm playing a game I want to win. And that, and it was a line like that. And it was just like, that was cool. That was fun because you could see the pressure come off when there's clarity and purpose and direction to where the individual's going. And I believe that's what Bradley meant by wealth just is not what's in the bank. It's what's in your soul. It's your purpose. Where are you going to? And I think that's really more important today and all times in life and everyone's journey, but what's really in that soul for their future that they're going towards. So.
Yeah, no, that is great. And I love that wealth isn't just what's in the bank. It's what's in your soul. It's what you carry with you, not just in your wallet. So true. But how can today's families and advisors use a game mindset to better navigate life and money? I mean, you've kind of hinted at it, in your answer so far.
Well, great question, Bill. You think about, let's play the game of tic-tac-toe. Who beat you? Who won the game the first time you played tic-tac-toe? Probably the person telling you the game. Here are the X's, here are the O's, is 3 in a row, tic-tac-toe. So, but games, they give us structure, rules, goals, and consequences. So without that, life can feel chaotic. So that's the good thing about games. It gives us some structure. So when we help families build a financial plan, we treat it like building their own customized board game. They define their version of winning. So is it financial freedom, time with the grandkids, when that retirement date's going to be? I don't like to use that word retirement, but it's like when that goal line date's going to be. Or is it giving away $1 million to missions and to have an impact on society, the world, or something that they just know that they've contributed to? So when I look at that, I just had an example just not too long ago with a new client that was coming in. We ran a full financial plan. And before the meeting, this individual had told me, I've already received a financial plan from another company. And they told me I was all right. Everything was going to work. And I said, well, let me run it. Let me test it out so I can validate that to you as well. Well, after I did it, the numbers worked, but there was no wiggle room to live life. There was no wiggle room to take money out for a new car, a home improvement, these life events that come along. And what I showed this individual was said, if you take out 1 or 2, 3 big lump sums anywhere along this journey, it doesn't affect you today. It's the back end that's going to be affected because you will have less money. It will create burden and stress if you happen to live to 95 or 98. That wasn't put in the plan by the other individual. It was just saying, well, if you take this income out, you're good. Well, life happens along the way. And that's the part about the board game is making sure it's being structured and communicated right. So we know the rules. This isn't the game of tic-tac-toe. I'm not the first person to teach it, so I can win it. I want to teach the rules and build the board out so these families can live life and get them to what freedom and winning is to them. So let's just lay out some of those. What can that look like? Well, it's avoiding tax traps.
Yeah.
And that can lead to financial ruin, unnecessary transfer of money to governments, to banks, to financial institutions. It can be more strategic even in designing a trust, giving away money in what are called donor advised funds, or it could just be talking through how do we avoid paying tax in the future and doing maybe looking at a Roth conversion. So these are strategic moves. And by doing these things, individuals and families can roll with the volatility. We can roll with the volatility of the market, knowing we've built margin and meaning into their plan. We don't have to be so focused on what's happening day by day, hour by hour with the stock market and the volatility. That's going to exist because we've already defined winning and what freedom looks like through a plan, the rules, and the goals. We can roll through those times. So I believe Bradley really used this game to show that every decision moves you closer or further from your destination. Really think about that. All these decisions move you closer or further from your destination. We do the same because life doesn't come with instructions. I wish it did sometimes. I wish I knew 25 years ago what I know today about the markets, economy, financial planning, but we don't. A wise guide can make all the difference. So this is the 27th year when I came in the industry in 1998. This is my 27th year. So there's a lot of wisdom. I've been surrounded by wisdom through my father, advisors and clients I've got to serve over the years. And it really makes a difference in the guidance and the helping clients really navigate what's going on so they can get to that winning piece, that winning goal line for their future.
Wow. You know, I wish I could still buy this board game today, Bryan. I got to tell you, after listening to you talk about it, because Milton Bradley gave us more than a board game. He gave us a blueprint. And a reminder that life is made up of choices and the values still matter. And it's nice to, you know, can you imagine a family playing that? You just, maybe we can make this episode go viral and they'll bring it back, Bryan. The game
that'd be great, you know, because I think we need more virtue and then help prevent financial ruin so people can get to really live their dreams out.
Yeah. The game hasn't changed. Only the board has changed.
Right.
It's like really, it's fantastic. Bryan, for people that are listening to this episode and they're thinking, you're the guy that maybe they want to have a conversation with, or maybe at least have an initial conversation with, what is the best way for them to reach out and get in touch with you to explore a relationship?
Yeah. Hey, Bill, anyone listening, whether you're just starting out, building your legacy, or wondering what comes next, remember, every decision is a move. I want you to hear that. Every decision is a move. Every moment is a space on the board, and you get to decide what winning looks like. And we will help guide you through that. So reach out, Bryan, Bryan, at garepple.com, or you can go to repplewealthgroup.com. There's a schedule on there. We have a no stress process we put clients through. So it's no stress to come in, have a conversation, and we walk through what's important to you, where are you now, where do you want to be, and help you bridge that gap to help you play this board game of life.
And I would encourage you to do that. Reach out to Bryan if this conversation strikes you as interesting. The other thing I would encourage you to do is, if you're not already a subscriber, is that part's easy. Become a subscriber. Subscribe to the podcast, because then when Bryan releases a new episode, you'll be notified, and you can give that one a lesson. And who knows what board game he's going to discover for this next episode coming up. Oh, God, man, fascinating conversation, Bryan. Thank you so much. It's really great. And for those of you who are listening who have enjoyed this conversation as much as I have, would you give it a like? Would you give it a good rating? Tell people about it. Let people know, because word of mouth promotion is irreplaceable. It's invaluable as a tool of promotion. Especially in this time when on the internet, you don't know who's recommending what. It's nice to get a word from a friend or from someone you know who says, hey, this is worthwhile. Give it a listen. And if you would do that, we'd very much appreciate it. So until next time, I'm Bill Tucker. On behalf of Bryan and everybody at Repple Wealth, I want to remind you that you can go out today and make today a great day or not. The choice is always yours. Remember that. So until next time, see you then.
Thank you for listening to Brain Wealth with Bryan Repple. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at www.repplewealthgroup.com. That's REPPLE wealthgroup.com. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Bryan Repple. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Bryan Repple is a registered representative and investment advisor for G.A. Repple & Company, member of FINRA SIPC.